PTO, which is our major fall fundraiser, and the PTO has different booths here, has different activities for students to do. Food trucks were here this year, and then we work with our local fire department, and then we have all these paws that get dropped from the ladder, and they spread out all over the field into little squares, and then parents win those prizes. We have music ensembles. We've got a really developing music program here at Weathersfield School. COVID caused it to really sort of die out, to be honest with you, and it's taken a few years to build it up. But we had a wonderful elementary one right before our December winter break, and then we had the middle level one in January. That was great. Our PTO puts on a family dance, so it's a kindergarten through 5th grade dance. Most of our students in the middle level, they go to our middle school dances, but our elementary students feel a little left out sometimes. So we want to make sure that our elementary students have an opportunity to be able to come to, and we just had our family dance a couple weeks ago, and it was a great turnout by families. I mentioned lunch with a loved one and community Thanksgiving dinner. Those are two things that we do. Lunch with a loved one, we do it all week, and it's themed around Valentine's Day, where families have an opportunity to come and have lunch with, or grandparents, or aunts and uncles, have an opportunity to come and have lunch with their student. And they can pick a day that they want to go, which works out with their schedule, or their dietary needs or wants, depending on what the menu is for that day. And then we do have our annual community Thanksgiving dinner, which usually is the Wednesday, about a week before we head out for Thanksgiving break. And it's a phenomenal meal where they serve turkey, gravy, stuffing, and all the fixings, and it's totally amazing. We did Christmas cards and caroling. Our music program did Christmas cards and caroling this year at the Escutney House. So they developed Christmas cards for all of the residents, and then went and sang songs for them, they've done that now for 2 years, and that's been really great. Curriculum nights, like I said, we're having the Camp Read a Lot coming up on this Thursday. Then we also have a STEAM night that we're doing later in the spring, and we're working with the Tech Center in Springfield with that as well to combine our efforts between different communities. We have a high school fair that happens in January, and we encourage not only our 8th graders, but our 7th graders and 6th graders, or anybody that wants to come, because it's never too early to start thinking about what you want to do after you leave Weathersfield School. And so we have some of the local high schools, because we do have high school choice here, and some of the local high schools do come and tell us all of the different opportunities of what they can do for their student when they go on to high school. Because it really is that student's choice and the family's choice of where they want to go, because so many of our high schools in the area offer different things for different student needs. So it's a great opportunity for that. We have monthly assemblies where we reward our students that are doing an amazing job. We call them Pride Assemblies, which each student or students in each classroom get an opportunity to be recognized for showing some of the core values that we want them to do here at Weathersfield. Drama production, getting ready to do that. I'm going to do a little plug for our drama production. It's happening April 4th and 5th. The 4th is the Friday night at 7 p.m. The 5th is at 2 p.m. right here in our gym, and we turn our amazing gym into a theater. And this year they're doing Peter Pan. It is always a top-notch performance, and they do the junior version, which is great. So they don't do the full 2-hour production. It ends up being about an hour and 15 minutes. The costumes, the sets, the ability and the talent that our students have is absolutely amazing, and we get students involved in that. Last year they did Beauty and the Beast, and it was amazing, and the year before that they did Little Mermaid Junior. Both of those were great performances, so please mark your calendars now. You'll be hearing more information about that. There are signs that are out there too, specifying when that's happening. Our student council / leadership team are the students that are doing things here at the school each and every day. So they're helping, they plan the activities, they're helping out this week with Camp Read a Lot. When we had our costume parade in October, for example, they helped out with that. And what I love now is that the students are leading the learning and leading what we're doing in those activities. And so I'm very particular on things that I want the students to do, and I have expectations. And I started to explain it the other day with one of the things I wanted, and they're like, Mr. Martis, we got you. We know what you want, we know what you expect, just let us run with it. And I say, okay, go for it. And so it's really nice to see that the students are taking ownership and leadership in that. We had our school-wide spelling bee just 2 weeks ago, right before we went on our February break. And so we have 3 students that are going to represent our school in the state spelling bee coming up later this month. And then we have a math team that competes, and they go around to different it's usually at high school venue, but they compete against other middle school teams and compete with their math skills. And it's been a fun experience for those students that are involved, especially with an academic focus. All right, these are some of the ways we get our school funding, obviously through local taxes. We also get them through our education fund through the state. We have government grants. We also get them through, like I mentioned before, Hicks-Nichols private grants. We also, Walmart is a big contributor. They usually give out mini grants, our PTO funds as well. And then we do get some anonymous grants. And then plus, we have some generous donations from teachers, staff, and of course, community members. So we appreciate all of those. All right, so we have 3 main goals that are put up into our strategic plan for our school and for our supervisory union. Student success and engagement. So we are a Leader in Me school. So Leader in Me is we focus on our 7 habits of highly effective students. If you walk down the hallways today, you might have noticed some of the classroom mission statements that are posted outside the door. You might have noticed our wig boards, and we have wildly important goals. So because it's very important to focus on the end in mind and make sure that you will have a goal and that you're able to reach that. So we've already met our goals. So our staff set a goal for language arts and for math. Excuse me. Thank you. Talking to you. I don't talk this much anymore. Thank you. So our staff set goals for language arts and math. And then 3 times a year, we take a look at those to see if we've met the goal. So we had, and that's based on our STAR assessments for language arts and math, which it shows us where the students are at currently academically. And so after the fall STAR test, our students met the goal. After the winter STAR test, our students met the new goal. So now we've set an additional set of WIGs, and so we'll do that again in spring to see where the students are at, and they continue to make those goals and make the growth throughout those academic areas. We have the Panther Pride assemblies that we talked about. We also have student-led presentations, so our students are leading the learning, and so our spring parent-teacher conferences are student-led conferences, which is pretty amazing because the students have a portfolio that they work with and they put together all year, and then it is truly a showcase of what they have learned throughout the year, and they share with their families what they have learned, and they talk about it, and they're able to own that education. Oh, and then one thing on there too, Student Leadership Day. So last year was the first year we did Student Leadership Day, and so we have it planned again. It's Friday, May 23rd. It's the Friday before Memorial Day, and so we invite all of the community to come here. And the students it's truly a showcase day where the students are sharing what they have learned throughout the year. So last year we had students, we even had our own Weathersfield student band that some students created, and then some original songs that they sang. Our choir performs, our art class shows off some of the artwork. Each classroom has different activities that they've done. So it is a quick, amazing day that just really has opportunities for the students to showcase what they've learned, and so for families to be able to see that. So mark your calendars again for that. All right, so information and communication. So we are really focused on trying to communicate what we are doing here at school as much as possible. So we do that through weekly communication with our newsletter that goes out every week, sending out information. Classrooms send out newsletters as well. We have our new digital billboard out front. We have those curriculum nights that we talked about, social media, and of course our website. And then we also share information at our community dinners. Once we get you guys in here, we talk a little bit more, or I just stand up here and talk to you guys a little bit too. So those all help. Our MTSS process, which is the multi-tiered system of support for students. So we take a systematic approach to help our students out. So we go through a process to make sure they're getting what they need each and every day by going through that process. And we have a multiple amount of parents or multiple amount of staff that take a look at that to see what the students need. So we get different perspectives on how the students learning in the classroom, how they're learning if they go to a specials classroom, how they're learning throughout the day. So it's important to get a variety of different inputs to be able to help our students the best that we can. All right, so we are lucky to be part of a supervisory union because we are better together, and it makes sense for us to do that. So some of we get more support throughout the SU that is able to help us get what we need, so we're not just doing it all by ourselves. So we get our special education through them, we get food services, we have transportation, our bus service goes through them, and we share that cost. We have obviously our administration and operations at the SU level, early childhood, curriculum, and then our maintenance department. So we get those all through our supervisory unions. Those are part of our supervisory union assessments. All right, I'm here. This is probably the part everybody really wanted to hear and see, and that we're going to have questions on. I'm sure you just didn't come to hear me. All right, so student enrollment. So we are constantly growing, which is nice. Our students are we're getting more and more students. This is our projected enrollment for next year, but BJ and I were just talking this morning, and we have 8 new students right now that aren't even reflected in that number that are just moving into our area. So Weathersfield is a place that families want to be. Weathersfield is a place where families want to raise a family, and they want to be here at the school, so we have people moving in all the time. And then if you add our K-12 in there as well, and then you can see that the other different schools that are in there as well, now if I stand in front of the camera, you're not going to see that, but you can see the trends where we're increasing over the years. So we're up to 250 at one point, and so we're starting to close that gap. So we're taking more and more of the piece of the pie, as I like to say it, where we're getting more and more students here at the schools, where some of the other schools are staying a little flat or even decreasing a little bit. We're having more and more people move into Weathersfield. All right, high school costs. So one of the things that I talked about was that we have school choice for high school, which is an amazing opportunity for our students and our families. So we have students that go around all around the area, from Bellows Falls to Kimball Union Academy. So we have public schools, we have non-Vermont public schools, we have Vermont private schools, we have all different things. So our students truly get the choice. And with anything that you're buying out there, because you are buying that, it's education, there's a cost to it, and there's a different cost depending on that. So different high schools cost more money. Private schools, we pay the state average, and so that goes to them. So even if a student's going to a more expensive private school, our portion from the town is what the state average is, and then families do supplement that cost if they want students to go after that. So a large part of our budget is high school and high school choice. So our budget goals this year is to maintain a staffing plan and program of studies which supports the whole child, very much about the whole child intellectually, socially, emotionally, and physically. Great that we have PE here for students. When I was in California, PE, although it was a requirement for K through 5, we did not have a separate PE teacher, so as a classroom teacher, you had to do that. And although there was 200 minutes every 2 weeks, that was one of the things that did get dropped every once in a while. And so it's nice that our students are getting 90 minutes of PE every week for sure by a PE teacher. And then we're also to bring forth a responsible budget while meeting educational quality standards. And so I think we've done that. All right, so as we were looking at our budget, and so I want to thank our budget advisory committee in advance for all the work that they did. We did come back with a couple of items that we were able to try to cut down our budget, because that number that Mr. Whalen showed you at the start is a big number, absolutely. So we did make some cuts initially, and those are what we did. And then if you notice that we tried to keep those out of the classrooms. Are some things going to affect it? Absolutely. I mean, custodial, cutting back custodial a little bit is going to affect classrooms, but our custodians do an amazing job and keep our school clean. So they have guaranteed me that we'll still have the same quality of service that we had. They'll just be more efficient when they do it. All right, so our SU assessments. We're in red because we're Weathersfield. Can everybody see that okay? Thank you, BJ. So you can see the difference in cost between administration and operations are the two columns on the left-hand side. One is FY25, one is FY26. The bigger number is obviously FY26 because costs do go up. And then the other two columns on the right-hand side are FY25 SPED, which is special education, and FY26 special education. Those are our proposed tax rates. And then there's our tax rate over the last 10 years. So we see that number grow and dip and grow and dip. If you look at FY24 and you look at FY23, we did have some of those dips because we had COVID money. We also didn't have staffing that we are able to fulfill those positions. So we are currently fully staffed. So that number is going to go up. So if you compare FY22 and FY26, our tax increase is about the same. And that's with costs going up for everything. All of you I know, with costs, every time you go to the grocery store, it's more expensive. Every time you do anything, it's more expensive right now. I understand that, but that is without adding anything new and taking away some. So that is also in your book. Oops. Where you guys can take a look at it. I know it's hard to see. That was the best I could get it. Yeah. But this page is right out of our town report book. And I can highlight a couple of things where if costs have gone up, and then we can explain those as well. I'll step out of everybody's way because I feel like I'm blocking people.
Page 57 of the town report.
All right. Questions? Comments? Yes?
So on page 57, can you highlight the ones that went up quite a bit?
Yep. We can do that. I'm actually going to turn that. Are you okay with taking that, Larry? Page 57? You have a mic right there. Do you want it as a percentage or total dollar amount?
If you scan down through, obviously my eyes go to the increases. So for example, Board of Education looks like it's 31.15% increase. That catches my eye.
He'll be able to give you all the detailed information exactly down what it is and how it does it. So just bear with him for just a second.
I was just wondering, Board of Education, I was just wondering what that encompasses.
Okay. And he'll tell you all of that exactly what it is. Thank you. Great question. Because my eyes always catch those bigger numbers as well too.
So, most of that money, that 14,000, 10,000 of which is insurance increases of $4,000 and printing and binding. Using our fiscal year 24 actuals, we wanted to get it closer to the actuals.
So, sorry, but Board of Education says the dollar change is 10,226.
And I'm saying there's a $4,476 increase in insurance, non-employee insurance, this bit, and $6,500 increase in printing and binding.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
So in the printing and binding too, I can clarify even further on that, goes to our portion of the town report.
And that's something new.
That is something new this year, thank you. Yep, we haven't had to pay for that yet up until this year, but we're taking our costs as well, so it's just not coming out of the town. And it's expensive to print our town reports, and we opted to keep it in black and white because the dollar savings was tremendous. All right, next question.
Yeah, so my question would be on probably the largest portion of this. I think it accounts for like 2/3 of the increase in the 26 budget is the SU assessments. And nowhere in the report is that portion of the budget broken down to explain what, where that increase is coming from.
Pardon, sir, would you please state your name?
Justin Bonnell.
Thank you.
Thank you, Justin, sorry.
Hey, Justin. So yeah, the SU assessments it's all online. Everything is on the budget book, posted since October online. Because to keep costs down in printing, the the Weathersfield administration and board decided they had to cut something out, and they cut that piece out of the actual printed paper. So. I can explain the increase. So, and he talked about it briefly in his presentation. The SU assessments the SU budget is up 9.3%. 3% is administration and operations, non-special ed, and 6.3% of that 9.3% is special education. And part of the administration ops, that 3% increase in the SU budget is the new transportation contract that was ratified, which I know Weathersfield was very interested, and that's an increase, that's a pretty significant increase in transportation costs for next fiscal year. That's when the new contract starts. And then at the SU budget, because I don't believe it's in here in the printed copy either, in the non-special ed, we did cut an administrative position, 1 FTE.
So does the special education account for like salaries for?
Yes, special education accounts for more than 2/3 of that increase in assessment. More than 2/3.
And it's mostly personnel, and that's driven by IEP requirements, student needs.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
For the benefit of those at home, folks need to use the microphone when speaking.
All right, sounds good. All right, I think we have a question right here. Please state your name.
John Emerson. In percentages, using the yield number released by the AOE in December, what's the percentage increase? And the second part of the question is, Governor Scott has proposed $70 million to be added to the ed fund to help with property tax increases. What would the percentage increase be if the 70 million stays in? And I think it's important that people understand you really don't know the tax rate until the numbers all come in May. And traditionally, they've been a little bit lower than projections, but I understand you folks don't have any choice but to go with the information that's available.
Thanks, John. So to answer the question, the budget before the tax rate is up 6.31%. Your tax rate estimate at this moment in time is 10.2%, which Brian outlined. If the governor's $77 million was put into the yield, the tax rate would go down from 10.2 projected increase to a 8.7 projected increase, more closer to the budget increase.
Are there any further questions on the budget?
So I didn't state my name last time, sorry, Lisa Slate. So not directly on to page 57, but my question is, you mentioned that enrollment is up, and I don't know your exact words, but your words led me to believe people are moving into Weathersfield, which is why enrollment is up, because everybody loves our school. I agree, I love our school. But my question is, are people really moving into Weathersfield? Is that the reason for enrollment being up? Because I've heard that sometimes if you don't live in Weathersfield, you still can attend Weathersfield. Sometimes if you don't live in Windsor, you can still attend Windsor.
So we are very strict as far as a school and a school board about students that have to live here to be able to attend here. We do, I'm going to say sorry, lack of a better term. Sometimes we do share students across the SU. So if a student is struggling maybe at another school, we do an intra-district or choice. So we do have a couple of students here that weren't being successful at other schools from within our supervisory union, so they do attend Weathersfield. So that number is very small, but that does add to our students as well. But students have to live here within our town to be able to attend here. Does that answer your question? Okay, thank you, Lisa. Oh, sorry. There you go. Please state your name.
I'm Laura Warga. I just had a question. I just had a question about page 58, the para-education salaries. And I saw that that was a spot that we've cut. That is down 55,000 approximately in the last 2 years. How many para-educators are we supporting? Is that a half-time position?
That was last year when we cut 2 paras that we were paying for in Weathersfield, and now they've been shifted over and they're being paid for, by the SU. So because special ed is supposed to be an SU covered assessment, they're now being paid for through the SU. So that money is still coming out of the budget just somewhere else.
So we only have one locally funded paraeducator at our school now.
Okay.
So we're letting the SU pick up that portion since we're paying for it through them.
Right. So I was just trying to make sure that we were paying them more than 34,000.
Yes. Yes, we are. Definitely. I like that question. So, okay.
One more on page 57.
Mm-hmm.
What goes under the office of principal?
So, me, BJ, Carrie, all expenses come in the office, copy costs, anything that's going out to the community comes out of the office of the principal. So there's a lot in there. Yep.
Thank you. Article 4, I'll remind you, will be voted by Australian ballot. at Martin Memorial Hall on Tuesday, March 4th. Polls open at 8 o'clock and close at 7. Before we move to Article 5, our board, the chair of our Board of Civil Authority, Mike Stankovich, has brought to my attention there was a clerical error on the first 3 articles, which are not by Australian ballot, but are voted on the floor. So because we have not voted on anything else, we are now free to return to Articles 1, 2, and 3 in sequence before we take off Article number 5. What I would ask for now is a motion to revisit Articles 1, 2, and 3 in sequence. Moved by Lisa Slade.
I'll second it.
Seconded by BJ Esty. All those in favor of revisiting Articles 1, 2, and 3 in sequence signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you, Mike, for bringing this to our attention. It's just a clerical error on the warning. Article 1, to act on the reports of the Weathersfield School District officers from July 1st, 2023 to June 30th, 2024. Is there a motion?
Moderator, Mike Stankovich, I so move.
Moved by Mike Stankovich. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded John Harrison. All those in favor of acting on the reports of the Weathersfield School District officers from July 1st, 2023 to June 30th, 2024. Please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed? The motion carries. Article 2, to elect the Weathersfield School District officers for the ensuing year. I'm going to read the names of the candidates this year, and if you'd, not campaigning, but if you want to stand and identify yourselves for the body, please do. Our school positions open for this year. Moderator, 1 year, Sean Whalen, that is me. There's 3-year school director. The candidate is Anne-Marie Redmond. For school director, 1 year, Megan Waite. And another candidate for the school director, 1 year, John Arison. And again, that voting will be on Tuesday from 8 until 7. Mike, will you help me? Do we need a motion to accept that slate? No. Okay. Then, thank you. And moving to Article 3. To vote that the Weathersfield School District is authorized to borrow money in anticipation of taxes to meet the requirements of the school district for the ensuing year, and to authorize the execution and delivery of notes and orders to the Weathersfield School District. Is there a motion for Article 3? Moved by Lisa Slade. Is there a second?
Mike Stankovich, a second.
To vote that the Weathersfield School District is authorized to borrow money in anticipation of taxes to meet the requirements of the school district for the ensuing year, and to authorize the execution and delivery of notes and orders to the Weathersfield School District. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed? The article carries, and that will bring us to Article 5. Thank you for your patience. To transact any other business which may properly come before the meeting. John Arison.
I don't have a microphone, so I'll try to speak up.
We need it for the folks at home. Thank you for being patient.
Thank you, Peter. I know it doesn't come out on Sabbath. I'd like to take an opportunity to compliment the staff, the maintenance, and custodial staff. This building now is, what, 18 years old? And I think the building looks as good or better than the first day we walked in this building. Thank you very much.
Hearing no further business, is there a motion to adjourn?
Thank you, Esty, so moved.
Moved by B.J. Esty. Is there a second?
Mike Stankovich, second.
Second is Mike Stankovich. All those in favor of adjourning, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed?